We're on the record in cause number 325964. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Carmen T. Simpson. Ms. Simpson, is that your full name? Carmen T. Simpson? How you doing, Ms. Simpson? I'm blessed as well. Thanks for asking. Ms. Simpson, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Simpson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may put your hand down. Ms. Simpson, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Peter Doyle. Mr. Doyle, how are you doing?
Pretty fair, dude.
That's good. Ms. Simpson, the information in this case alleges that on or about February 6th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of resisting arrest, search, transportation. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. Simpson, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No problem.
Now, you're pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Simpson, I have before me a document that is titled, the misdemeanor plea admonishment is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Ms. Simpson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Ms. Simpson, are these your initials on the line that's next to a box checks nolo contingent, which means no contest?
Yes, sir.
And on the next page of the same document, Ms. Simpson, is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, Ms. Simpson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes checked at the top of this document. The first box check states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you are waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I also have another document here. This document is titled the Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Simpson, is this your signature on the second line of this document above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Simpson, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you will also like to offer State's Exhibit 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibits Number 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Doyle, you have advised and counseled Ms. Simpson. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
Ms. Simpson, your attorney, Mr. Doyle, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Simpson, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
It's for 90 days over 1 year, a $250 fine, 80 hours community service, and anger management.
Ms. Simpson, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $250 plus court costs. The fine and the court costs comes to a total of $602. You will also be required to pay $60 each month for probation fee, $15 each month, your analysis fee. You will also be required to reimburse Jefferson County court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. Now, the total monthly installments that you would have to pay, or the total that you would have to pay per month, is $155 per month. Ms. Simpson, would you be able to pay the $155 per month? Okay. Now, Ms. Simpson, you will also be required to perform 80 hours of community service, attend and complete the anger management class, and you would also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Ms. Simpson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Simpson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Ms. Simpson, please stand on the X where your attorney is standing. You're gonna follow the directions of the clerk. And once you finish in this court, you'll be excused and you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. And I think, Mr. Dahl, this is your last case as well. Once you sign up, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day as well.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Sherelle Bennett. She's on the pretrial conference docket, the last person on page 1. Reynolds is our attorney.
While I'm waiting on this, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear you've never been convicted of giving deferred adjudication of regular probation or a misdemeanor or felony in this area? Have a treating charges against you?
We're on the record in cause number 324096, case of style of state of Texas versus Sherelle L. Bennett, or Sherelle Lee Bennett. Is that your full name?
I'm Sherelle Leigh Bennett.
Sherelle Lee Bennett. How you doing, Miss Bennett?
I'm all right.
That's good, Miss Bennett. You're represented by your attorney, Mr. Nathan Reynolds, who's appearing via Zoom. Mr. Reynolds, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Judge.
That's good. Mr. Reynolds, do you have an announcement you'd like to make in Miss Bennett's case?
Yes, sir, Judge. Ms. Bennett was going to enter a plea today and pay a fine. And she is asking for more time, Judge, if she could, to come up with her fine money.
How much?
Could ask for a reset and put it back on the plea docket.
How much time do you need to?
Well, I've got my mom involved. She's trying to help me pay it now. So,
How much time do you need?
at least maybe 30, 60 days.
How much of fine we talk? I mean,
I think it's $800 plus court costs, Judge.
so you need 60 days?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're gonna reset Miss Bennett case for 60 days so she can pay a fine and court costs. Miss Bennett, you can stand over here on the X, on the far X. And once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What is it?
August 9th.
August 9th. And Mr. Reynolds, your reset will be sent to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have any other cases?
I do not, sir.
Okay, this will conclude your cases for today. You're excused and you have a blessed day as well.
All right. Thank you, Judge. You too.
Okay. Is on the announcement docket, Mr. James Macon's case, Christian Fuller. Is Christian Fuller here?
She's sitting outside, Your Honor, and I anticipate at some point that being a plea, if you could put it over on the plea docket.
Okay, Mr. Bailey, go get Ms. Fuller.
She's sitting right there.
We're on the record in cause number 322293, case of style, State of Texas versus Christian Leah Fuller. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Fuller?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Ms. Fuller. You represented by your attorney, Mr. Macon. Mr. Macon, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Your Honor.
That's good. Mr. Macon, do you have an announcement you'd
I
like to
do,
make?
Your Honor. We've received the discovery, just a few things I need to get with Ms. Fuller, but I anticipate this case being a plea and would ask that it be set over on a plea.
Plea docket? Okay, hold on for your plea date. Actually, Mr. Bailey, someone is at the door trying to get your attention. Mr. Macon, you can get your reset. You can stand on the X, get your reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go.
Okay, I have a-
And once your attorney give you reset, Ms. Fuller, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day. Henry Barron,
He's standing outside also, Your Honor.
he's on the last page, the last person on the announcement docket.
And pretty much the same announcement on him, Your Honor.
He had a case today, okay.
He has a pending felony that we're working on resolving, and once that happens, I think this will.
Okay, I see that, DW third.
The felony hasn't been.
Oh, okay. We're on the record in cause number 329364, State of Texas versus Henry Paul Barron the Fourth. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Barron? I'm doing fine. Mr. Barron, the attorney, has announced that, this case is gonna be reset. Now, you needed reset with the felony. She said that
Yes.
we haven't received a reset date on the felony yet.
Well, that's later. They'll be resetting that, and as soon as we do, I'll be sure to call them.
Okay, okay, your case will be reset with your felony case, Mr. Barron. This will conclude your case. You'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. Let me do this. Let me get Mr. West. He is, let me get Mr. West case. He has a. Cameron Ford. That's on the announcement docket, page 3, right in the middle. There he is. Mr. Let's see, we on the record in cause number 326846, the case is State of Texas versus Cameron Jawan Ford. How you doing, Mr. Ford? Well, that's good. Now, Mr. Ford, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. John West. Mr. West, how are you doing? That's good. Mr. West, you have an announcement you'd like to make?
We've done the paperwork counter and ready to approve.
Okay.
Completed, Your Honor.
Oh. Okay. There it is.
Yeah, 326-846.
I never said we did.
We're on the record in cause number 326846. The case is styled as State of Texas versus Cameron Jawan Ford. Mr. Ford, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ford, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Ford, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ford, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Ford?
I'm all right, Judge.
That's good. Mr. Ford, you're here with your attorney, Mr. West. And Mr. Ford, I have before me an information in this case that alleges on or about January 4th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of dangerous drugs. Mr. Ford, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Ford, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, no contest?
Yes, sir.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Sir.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Yes, dated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, Mr. Ford, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishments. Mr. Ford, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of this same document, Mr. Ford, are these your initials on the line that's
Yes, sir.
titled guilty?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of this same document, Mr. Ford, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, Mr. Ford, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The top box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled the discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature on the second line above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to also offer State's Exhibit, State, do you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, any objections?
No objection.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. West, you advised and counsel Mr. Ford, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ford, your attorney, Mr. West has advised and counsel has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
And are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ford, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The terms of that plea bargain is 1 year county jail probated for 1 year, $800 fine, 80 hours community service, drug and alcohol assessment, and a DWI education course as a condition of probation.
He is to take a DWI education course as part of a drug.
That's a drug education course.
He's doing a drug education course?
Drug education, yes.
Okay. Okay, so you're gonna do drug education, okay.
I think he's just so used to saying that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, no, okay. Okay,
We did not
now,
have it.
Mr. Ford,
Yes, sir.
the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $800 plus court costs of $402. So the total fine and court costs is $1,202. You also be required to pay a fee of $100 to reimburse the crime lab for the analysis. You also, the probation fee is 0? Down here it says the probation fee is 0. There you go. I don't know how that came out. Just hold on a minute. It's not, it's just a mistake. Just hold on a minute. Okay, we're back on the record. Now, Mr. Ford, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $800 plus court costs of $402, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $1,202. You will also be required to pay $100 reimbursement to the crime lab. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, or your analysis fee of $15 each month. Your total monthly installments for this offense will be $185 per month that you would have to pay. Would you be able to pay the $185 each month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Ford, you will also be required to perform 80 hours of community service, attend a drug education class as directed by the probation department, and submit to an alcohol and drug urine screening as directed by the probation department. Also, you would have to adhere to the other standard terms and condition of this probation. Mr. Ford, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Ford, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you've entered into with the state. Please stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. And once you're finished in here, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
All right, thank you, too, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Can you get your right thumb across?
Your Honor, I do have one more case in the trial document.
Yeah,
but
we-
I have to be at Judge Stevens at 11, so.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not here, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
There's a signature page right here. You can sign. You won't see it, but I will. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear you have never been convicted or given deferred to the person of regular probation or misdemeanor or felony in the United States? Have any other pending charges against you?
No.
Once you leave here, you are to report to probation. They want you to call from the parking lot, so they'll let you know what time to come in.
Edward Jimenez. This is on the announcement docket, page 3. We're on the record in cause number 327658. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Edward Jimenez. Mr. Bailiff, there's somebody at the back. Mr. Jimenez, how are you doing?
Yeah.
That's good, Mr. Jimenez. You're represented by your attorney, Mr. Jared Gilthorpe. Mr. Gilthorpe, how are you doing?
Gentlemen,
Okay, Mr. Gilthorpe, you have an announcement?
yes, Judge. He has a felony down the hall, and we'd
Okay.
like to run this case with his felony.
Has it been reset?
Yes, it was reset to July.
They don't have a date.
Oh, they haven't told him. And Mr. Philip Galvin represents him down the hall. And so whenever we get that.
This
date-
is Edward Jimenez on page 3.
When we get the date from the new court, we can inform you of what that date is.
Okay, she'll check.
Okay.
Your Honor, the state was requesting, as a condition of his bond that, you have a no contact order.
He has bond conditions? Okay, hold on a minute. Let's see what we got.
I think we went over no contact the last time we
Did
did.
he-
Did we have, does he have bond conditions?
So I want to make sure that if you're just.
He had bond conditions? Okay. Okay, you talking about no contact of the alleged victim, huh?
Yes,
The
Your
only-
Honor. Yes, Your
Is
Honor.
that, Yomara Vargas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is it in here? Operator the way. Who is looking in the PC affidavit, it has one name. I'm looking at the information, it has another name. Who is the,
Yomara Vargas, Your Honor.
oh, I see, I connect non-consent from Vargas. What is that now? Okay, just hold on a minute. We're back on the record in cause number 327658, State of Texas versus Edward Jimenez. Mr. Jimenez, what you have before you is standard bond conditions in County Court at Law number 2. And I will go over these bond conditions with you. And it reads, following the arrest and or accusation in County Court at Law number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, all bail bonds executed for release of any defendant named herein or ordered subject to the following additional conditions. Number 1, the defendant shall not commit no offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or of the United States. Do you understand that condition? Condition number 2, defendant shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol at any time as directed by the court. The court may revoke the bond and order the arrest of any defendant who, A, refuses to submit to a test for drugs and alcohol when directed to do so by the court, or B, submit to a test for drugs and alcohol and the test indicates the presence of drugs or alcohol in the defendant's body, and that's pursuant to the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.44, Section A2 and C2. Do you understand that condition? You have to speak up. She's taking a record. Do you understand that condition? Okay. Condition number 3, the defendant shall not communicate either directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of the pending offense, and the defendant shall not go near any residence, school, or other location frequented by the alleged victim, Yomara Vargas. Do you understand that condition?
Yes, sir.
All right. Condition number 4 doesn't apply to you in this case. So, Mr. Jimenez, if you violate any one of these conditions, your bond can be revoked and a warrant could be issued for your arrest. You could be arrested and put in Jefferson County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we need a reset, well, with his felony. Is that correct?
Yes,
Does he have a felony date yet?
no.
Okay, we'll check to see whenever you get a felony date. We get the felony date, your case will be reset. All right, Mr. Vargas, just stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. You're free to go. You have a blessed day. Let me call the trial docket. You have a case?
Your Honor, on the announcement docket, I have Taylor Thompson. He's here. We have both.
Where is Mr. Thompson? Mr. Thompson, would you come forward?
Page 1. We need a short reset to finish, and I think it'll be pleased that time.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, okay, we on the record in cause number 322-914, State of Texas versus Taylor Mitchell Thompson. How you doing, Mr. Thompson?
Good, how about yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks, Faxon. Mr. Thompson, your attorney, Mr. Macon, is requesting that your case be reset.
Yes,
How much time do you need, Mr. Macon?
at normal time, Your Honor. It'll be fine.
Reset of 30 days, and you're gonna set it on the plea docket?
Yes, sir.
Reset it for plea. You, Mr. Macon, you get your reset. Once you get the reset, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Thompson, once your attorney give you reset, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay. Bruce Smith. Okay. First case we have on our trial docket is Jamie Karen Gore. Call the name of Jamie Karen Gore.
Jamie Gore. Jamie Gore. No response, Your Honor.
Okay. Next case is Luis Francisco De Leon Sanchez.
Luis Sanchez.
Oh, you don't have to do that. Okay, we're on the record in two cases. First case is cause number 320090. Second case is cause number 328156. Both cases are styled the State of Texas versus Luis Francisco De Leon Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez, how are you doing? You doing good? Now, Mr. Sanchez, are you represented by your attorney, Mr. Jared Gilthorpe? Mr. Gilthorpe, Mr. Sanchez case is on the court's trial docket. What's your announcement?
Judge, we want to continue with a trial. I have a scheduling conflict for this week. I'm not available this week. I'm scheduled with the feds in the Lufkin district this week. So we'd like to reset it to another trial.
I mean, you say you're scheduled with the feds.
Yes.
What you have a trial?
No, it's depositions on a case with Judge Trincali. It's an appointed case, through the CJA panel.
Okay, well, so you announcing ready on this?
We're,
On-
we're ready as far as, we're ready to proceed with the trial, just the timing conflict. I cannot do it today and tomorrow. I'm scheduled in Huntsville tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm leaving today for Huntsville.
Okay, all right, all right, just have a seat. We'll get back to it. Okay. Okay, Victor Williams. Would you call Victor Williams and clause number 322468?
Victor Williams?
I see motions in file. That's from 2020. That's something else.
Victor Williams?
He was there, sir. I just talked to him a minute ago. If he's not happy, must be busy. Sir,
Response now.
no, he was there a minute ago.
He was here, because I checked it out.
Oh, he's here?
He was, he's not now.
Well, he was here?
He was here.
He was here a minute ago.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Brandon Dwayne Kirksey.
Sir, Judge.
Oh. Okay. That he's here. Okay, we on the record in clause number 322468. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Victor Lavoris Williams. Is that your full name?
Sir,
How you doing, Mr. Williams?
I'm doing okay.
That's good, Mr. Williams. You're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Ted Johns Jr. Mr. Johns, how you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Johns, what is your announcement on Mr. Williams' case?
Well, we're ready, sir, but we're still dealing with a situation where we got a translator problem. I have an affidavit here where made by the prosecution, a witness of the prosecution saying that this man, primary witness, needs a translator.
What language does he speak?
Spanish.
We can get a translator.
And here's the situation of it. It's a very complicated case in that, as I told you before, the DTPA case. And I talked to Mr. Raymond Sure 3 weeks ago. It was about 3 weeks ago I talked to you. We're trying to move this case forward, okay? And he said he had a new DA coming in because the last DA, for whatever reason, I've had two other DAs, they never put an offer in the case, never moved the case at all. So Mr. Raymond Sure, he wanted to get with some other people in the office to talk with. He said he had this man coming in. I came up here last Monday. I think it's Monday I came here. I said, man, you don't know, you got this case on your docket. It's a deceptive trade practice case. I've been 30 years, I haven't seen any of these in criminal court. So he's been trying to get witnesses together. I filed a motion for continuance in the case because we got translation problems, witness problems, everything like that. It's been on the docket for 2 years. I'm not gonna say 2 years. It had been continued because of me filing continuance. It's been continued because of the COVID. And for whatever reason, until I got Mr. Shear involved with this case, and this man involved in the case, we haven't had any movement in the case. Now, we got some movement in the case now, okay? So, you know, what I would ask for is a day certain that we try this case because we get all the parties together. Because right now, it's a situation, translator, we can get a translator in here.
Well, we can get a translator. I got a Rolodex with Spanish translators.
But that being said, I still would ask for a date certain to try the case, okay?
Well, today is that date.
Well, you know, I don't know if, you know, I'm announcing ready, you know, so I'll say what I want to say.
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready, but to clarify from last week, I think Your Honor was wanting to know a little bit more about the civil attorney and trying to protect, I guess, the state itself, the victim potentially having to expend a lot of other money if they don't have something resolved in the civil court. I talked with Heather Blackwell. She's representing the defendant in this case, and
The defendant?
I'm sorry, she's representing the victim, the alleged victim, Your Honor, and tried to speak with him as well as I could.
Yeah, I don't need any details of, what y'all talked about, anything, any of that. But I just need to know, I mean, you're saying that when we got a language problem, we can get a translator. That's not an issue. In terms of the victim, is your victim ready to testify? or not?
Yes, Your Honor, he is. I think it was just some concern what they may be able to resolve the civil issue.
Yeah, but civil cases and criminal cases is like apples and oranges. I mean,
Yes, Your Honor.
we don't resolve our criminal cases based on what y'all do on the civil side, so.
Absolutely, but I spoke with the
Yes.
victim, like I said, I won't go into
Okay.
it, but it was just
Well, I mean, right now, this case is on the trial docket, you announced ready. And so, we're gonna give it a number. Okay? I haven't given any numbers out yet, but it's gonna be a case that we, like I said, this case has been around. On the docket sheet, it said 800 days. So
800 days, 2.5 years.
you got 365 days in a year.
2.5 years, but I don't think it's been.
That's over. Well, that's what I'm looking at the date here. It says 800 days. Yeah,
That's an offense.
yeah. So right now we just we'll give it a number. I mean, we just got ready on this here, but so y'all just have a seat. Look like I got a #1 trial setting.
Now, I would need,
That's what the next case says. It says Brandon Kersey, I see #1 trial setting. Okay,
who is
let me
Brandon
get to
Kersey?
that, let me get to the next case. That's the next case. That's the next case, okay? Y'all just have a seat. I'm just looking at a note here on the docket sheet. It says that case is supposed to be the #1 setting. So y'all just have a seat. Brandon Kirksey. Okay, your full name is Brandon Dwayne Kirksey?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Kirksey?
How you doing, sir?
All right, and how you doing, Ms. Ferrazzo?
Doing very well. Thank you.
That's good. Ms. Ferrazzo, what is your announcement?
Okay, we're ready, Your Honor.
State, what's your announcement?
Your Honor, the state would request a bench trial on this matter.
Okay, so the state is requesting a bench trial? Okay. Okay, y'all just have a seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is Brandon Hernandez here?
He's president counsel, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, cause number 327022. Your full name is Brandon Hernandez?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Mr. Hernandez, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Tom Kelly. Mr. Kelly, how are you doing?
Good morning, Judge. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Kelly, you have an announcement?
Judge, I believe we're ready. I've spoken with Mr. Boyd several times over the course of the last few days, and I think we may be able to get to a resolution this morning if the court would allow us, maybe just a little bit more time to talk.
Yeah, y'all can talk. Yeah, okay, but right in state, you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mark Seeger. Where's Mr. West?
We also have Nancy Ballinger.
Right. Is he here?
She's here.
Okay, well, let's call Miss Nancy Bellinger.
Yes, Judge.
Nancy Bellinger. And now your name is Nancy Marie Bellinger.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? How are you doing, Miss Bellinger?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Ms. Bellinger. You're represented by your attorney, Mr. Tom Kelly. Mr. Kelly, you have an announcement?
Judge, we've reached a resolution in this case. If the court would perhaps set us on a review docket in a week, we've got this case worked out.
Y'all have a plea bargain or something
Yes,
worked
Your
out?
Honor.
Okay, so we're gonna set it for a plea in a week?
It's going to be dismissed, Judge. There's just some legwork that the government's asking us to do. We're going to have it taken care of immediately.
Just reset it for a week?
And we may not even need the setting, Judge.
Okay, okay. What is that date?
June 21st.
June 21st. Uh-oh. Where is Mr. Adams? No. I was talking to something. Let's see. We got Jimmy Thomas. He's in jail. I know.
And he actually inquired about what we do about people in jail that are on the trial docket.
He goes up to number 1. He's in jail. That's what happens. He goes to number 1.
I'll go down the hall, see if I can find him.
Let him know he's up.
Okay. Yeah, he was in the back, just a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So, you can get your reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. You have a blessed day as well.
I'm not done.
Oh, that's right. You got
Yeah,
that
Judge,
one
I'll
more.
Stick around for a little while.
Okay. We're not trying to run you off.
Understood.
So is this to stay on the trial docket, or just put it on the?
He said it on the like an announcement. It's next week.
Yeah.
Just reset it a week. We don't have a trial doc next week. We have one, but it's not our scheduled trial docket.
I'm just.
Okay, we'll be in recess.